Daniil of Galicia, Russian. Daniil Romanovich was a king of Rus, Prince of Galicia, Peremyshl and Volodymyr. He was crowned by a papal archbishop in Dorohochyn 1253 as the first king of Rus. Biography. He was also known as Danilo Romanovich. In 1205, after the death of his father, Roman II Mstislavich, the ruler of Galicia Volhynia, the boyars of Galicia forced the 4-year-old Daniil into exile with his mother Anna of Byzantium and brother Vasilko Romanovich. After the boyars proclaimed one of their own as prince in 1213, the Poles and Hungarians invaded the principality, ostensibly to support the claims of young Daniil and Vasilko, and divided it between themselves. In 1219 he renounced his claims to Galicia in favor of his father-in-law Mstislav the Bold. In 1221 Daniil re-established his rule over Volhynia, where the boyars and populace had remained loyal to his dynasty. In 1234 he defeated Alexander Vsevolodovich, taking the Duchy of Belz. By 1238 he had defeated the Dobrin Knights and regained most of Galicia, including the capital at Galicia. While the Prussians were under pressure from the Teutonic Order, Daniil attempted to conquer the related Yatvingians. The following year, Daniil acquired Kiev, the traditional capital of the defunct state of Kievan Rus. Faced with the Mongol menace, he sent his commander Dmytro to defend the city. However, after a long siege its walls were breached and despite fierce fighting within the city, Kiev fell on December 6, 1240 and was largely destroyed. A year later, the Mongols passed through Galicia and Volhynia while campaigning against the Poles and Hungarians, destroying Galicia. On August 17, 1245, Daniil defeated a combined force of the Prince of Chernihiv, disaffected boyars, and Hungarian and Polish elements at Yaroslav, and finally took the remainder of Galicia, thus reconstituting his father's holdings. He made his brother Vasilko ruler of Volhynia and retained the Galician title for himself, though he continued to exercise real powers in both places. Daniil's domestic policies focused on stability and economic growth. During his rule, German, Polish, and Rus merchants and artisans were invited into Galicia, and numbers of Armenians and Jews established themselves in the towns and cities. Daniil founded the towns of Lviv and Kom, and fortified many others. He appointed officials to protect the peasantry from aristocratic exploitation and formed peasant-based heavy infantry units. Yet Daniil's successes and his failed defensive Kiev attracted the further attention of the Mongols. In 1246, he was summoned to the capital of the Golden Horde at Sarai on the Volga River and was forced to accept Mongol overlordship. According to the Ukrainian historian Oris Subtelny, Daniil was handed a cup of fermented mare's milk by the Mongol Khan Batu and told to get used to it, as you are one of ours now. Quote, they exchanged hostages whereby 100 families of Karaites were resettled in Carpathian Galicia, while formally accepting the Mongols as overlords, and supplying them with soldiers as required. Daniil built a foreign policy around opposition to the Golden Horde. He established cordial relations with the rulers of Kingdom of Poland and Kingdom of Hungary, and requested aid from Pope Innocent IV in the form of a crusade. In return for papal assistance, Daniil offered to place his lands under the ecclesiastical authority of Rome, a pledge never realized. Wooed by the prospect of extending his authority, the Pope encouraged Daniil's resistance to the Mongols and his Western orientation, and in 1253, had a papal representative crown Daniil at Dorohochyn on the Bug River. Danilo wanted more than recognition, however, and commented bitterly that he expected an army when he received the crown. The following year, Daniil repelled Mongol assaults led by Orda's son, Khurramsar. on Ponesia and Volhynia and dispatched an expedition with the aim of taking Kiev. Despite initial successes, in 1259, a Mongol force under Burendas and Nogai Khan entered Galicia and Volhynia and offered an ultimatum. Daniil was to destroy his fortifications, or Burendas would assault the towns. Daniil complied and pulled down the city walls. In the last years of his reign, Daniil engaged in dynastic politics, marrying a son and a daughter to the offspring of Mindaugas of Grand Duchy of Lithuania and acquiring territorial concessions in Poland from the latter. Another daughter of his, Ustinia, was married to Prince Andrei Yaroslavich of Vladimir Suzdal. He also arranged for the marriage of his son Roman to Gertrude, the Babenberg heiress, but was unsuccessful in his bid to have him placed on the ducal throne of Austria. By his death in 1264, Daniil had reconstructed and expanded the territories held by his father, held off the expansionist threats of Poland and Hungary, minimized Mongol influence on western Ukraine, and raised the economic and social standards of his domains. He was succeeded in Galicia by his son Lev. Honors. A monument to him was erected in 2001 in Lviv. Another one is in Halych. Lviv Danilo Halicsky International Airport is named after him. On September 7, 2011, the Parliament of Ukraine issued a resolution on celebration of the 810th anniversary of the birth of the first king of Ruthenia, Ukraine, Danilo of Halych. Family. Wives: Anna of Novgorod, 1218, daughter of Mstislav the Bold. N.N., niece of King Mindaugas of Lithuania, BEF, 1252. Brother Vasilko Romanovich, Prince of Belz, 1207–1211, Prince of Brest, 1221–1231, Prince of Volhynia, 1231–1269. Sisters: Fyodora of Galicia, M. 1187, Vasilko of Galicia, Maria of Galicia, M. Before 1200, Michael of Chernigov, sometime Grand Prince of Kiev and ultimately a saint. Sons: Irakli Danilovich, Levi of Galicia, Prince of Belz, 1245–1264, Prince of Peremyshl, 1264–1269, Prince of Halych, 1269–1301, Prince of Halych Volhynia, 1293–1301. He moved his capital from Halych to the newly founded city of Lviv, M. 1257. Constance, daughter of Beakut of Hungary. Roman Danilovich, Prince of Black Ruthenia, 1255–1260, and Slonim, Msdy Slav Danilovich, Prince of Lust, 1265–1289, Prince of Volhynia, 1289 aft. 1300, Svan, Grand Duke of Lithuania, 1264–1267, Prince of Chelm, 1264–1269. Son, died as infant. Daughters: Pereyaslava M., California, 1248, Prince Siemowit I of Masovia. Ustinia, M. 1250–1251, Prince Andrew II of Vladimir Suzdal. Sophia Danilovna, M. 1259, Graf Heinrich V von Schwarzburg-Blankenburg. They were the parents of Uta von Schwarzburg-Blankenburg, who was the eponymous ancestor of the House of Rus. Daughter, died as infant. Ancestry.